May the 4th be with you. The image on your screen right now was tweeted out by the Grandmaster David Filoni. What a tremendous finale to a tremendous series which started many, many moons ago. My name is James Razile, and I am joined with this guy, Andrew Fantasia. Brock will be along in a moment, but he is watching probably some Rebel show or movie with his WGR. He'll be joining us in just a moment. How's it going, Andrew Fantasia?
Oh, I love this art. This is very cool. This really, it already makes me nostalgic for something that I just saw this morning.
I'm still weary on spoilers for it. I know it's been up for like 17 hours or so, but most people are in quarantine or working from home, but still, people might not have time to watch it just yet. But I thought it was a phenomenal ending to that series, but especially to that 4-part arc.
Yeah. It ended right where it needed to. I like that we didn't, I was afraid they were going to try to do what Revenge of the Sith tried to do in its last 5 minutes, which was, we got to catch up. So it's like the second this ends is exactly like A New Hope, even though there's 19 years between them. Quick, get Obi-Wan to Tatooine, get Yoda to Dagobah, get this, get that. I'm glad they didn't do that with this. It's not like, oh man, we got to get Malachor right now. We got to get Ahsoka here right now. It's just like they know better now. They have kind of in the right spots.
And I think the difference is that the Revenge of the Sith was the end of it all. They had to do that. Whereas this, we don't know where they're going to be going after this. But the future is bright for Star Wars. Just shout out to everyone in the chat. We got a great chat going on. Stories by Irish are here. Rachel's here. Heidi's here. D. Raven Spencer's here. Automated Joy. Great Council. Great Council. Great job on this nonstop live streamathon that's going on. So after us, you want to check out Mad Max on the Mad Max channel. 9 is to be determined. And then after that, the end of the night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central is the Nerd Reactor. So all live streams going on. A lot of fun all day, all night. May the 4th comes but once a year, just like Christmas. And now it's here.
That's right. Yeah. There's no May the 4th Part 2 yet, as far as we know.
Yeah, we'll see.
So far has been, all things considered, considering the state of everything, it's a better May the 4th than I would have hoped for if you'd have asked me a month and a half ago what kind of day it would have been. The only thing I think could have been the cherry on this Sunday was releasing that Kylo Ren comic when they were supposed to. Other than that, I think we got some cool stuff. For the people who like digital movies, you got Rise of Skywalker, it's there, so your whole collection's there. It was a nice 1, 2, 3 punch on Disney Plus. I don't know if anything came out book-wise. That Padme book, I think, got delayed till June.
And I think Queen Shadow was free, but only in the United States of America. I do not believe we had the pleasure of getting that for free. Here, we got to pay full top dollar for it. I haven't checked yet.
Our dollar is worth a lot.
Our dollar is worth nothing. Kicking Air is here. Kicking Air is ready to kick arse in trivia. Rural Farm Boys here as well. Rural, and Michael here from 2Med2. Rural, I want to know, did you have anything Star Wars related for dinner today? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Arguably, real Star Wars Day is May 25th. Arguably, right?
Arguably. The people who would argue that would be pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's the day that Star Wars was released, right? So
I don't know if it's just because the the hype of Revenge of the Sith coming out is the most prevalent in my mind at that time of my life, but I always associate May 19th with Star Wars because I think that was Revenge and Phantom Menace.
You're a kid. May 25th was the original Star Wars. Only us oldies remember that day. I was not born, but only us can appreciate going to the theater. You know what? It's funny because people talk about going to, and anybody has a story in the chats. Fill it out, write it down, or send an email, or read it on air, or whatever. Not today, but on another episode. And for me, I guess my closest experience. Oh, supper comes later for rural. So, well, let us know. I'm excited. Is it going to be Star Wars themed? So, for me, I think the closest experience I ever had to the original Star Wars opening was going to go see the original Ninja Turtle movie, where there was a line. It was like, it was. You know where it was? It was in Brampton. Is Pauline? The Party City is now Party City in Brampton, but it used to be a movie theater by the old Zellers. Remember that area?
I'm so jealous of you right now, Jim. And my dad, okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure out where this was.
It's Vauden area. No, Kennedy, and
it's not the one where the Costco is, right on the west end of Brampton. It's not that one.
No. It's further down. It's in the heart of hell. There's a little Caesars around that area. It's a Party City now.
Okay, and that used to be a theater.
It was a movie theater. Yes. It was one of the two movie theaters in Brandon. There were the smaller ones. And my dad was like, well, I'm going to take you to go see Ninja Turtles because you love Ninja Turtles. And I was like, here's this thing. I mean, we talk about this all the time when we talk about live action versus animation for Star Wars especially. Is there's something about live action that just, it makes it feel real almost. And it's nothing against animation, but there's like, so I was so excited to go see Ninja Turtles. And I love Turtles already, which is a little bit different than Star Wars. And we went and the line went around the movie theater. And my dad hates movies. Well, he doesn't hate movies. He likes like John Wayne. He doesn't really like stuff. So he's like, okay, we'll wait in this line. And I was like, oh my God, Ninja Turtles. People were like nobody was in like costume, but people had like pins. I'll never forget people wearing pins and all this stuff. I'm like, well, how did they get this stuff? And we were in line for a while, and the usher comes and goes, guys, it's been sold out for like days. And half the line is like, what? And we all had to leave, and my dad took me again like a week later to go see it, and I did see it in the theater, and it was one of my favorite theater going experiences. But I always, when people talk about the original Star Wars and I see images, the closest thing that I could think of in my mind is that Ninja Turtle experience. Because The Force Awakens was one thing, but the world had changed a lot even by then. Whereas Ninja Turtles, it was still kind of like, movie theaters were still just like, like crappy seats, small screens. By the time Phantom Menace came out, it's like, I need to have a reclining seat, and the screen has to be big with a 7.9 surround sound. The Ninja Turtles was like a 13.5-inch monitor in front of me.
In the 16 years we've known each other, I don't recall, 14 years. I don't recall us ever, and we've talked about Turtles a lot, but I don't recall us ever talking about that theater experience. I'm fascinated by this now. So you saw it. Awesome. You saw it in the theater. You're officially the only human being that I know of who has.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I went twice to see it because the first time sold out.
Was it like when you actually got to watch it? Was it what I've been hearing about in fairy tales and old sea shanties, where it's just like kids going ballistic when the turtles come on screen, and just like this was nirvana for every 90s child?
I could tell you. So as a kid, we got to get into Star Wars soon, but so watching it though, so the cartoon was my turtles. So when their voices were different, it was a little like, I knew that from the trailers and the commercials and everything. So I was a little bit off put by that. But the movie starts and the soundtrack like grabbed me, and then they kept the classic title screen card. And it was almost like when that card came up, the voices didn't matter anymore, and I accepted the new. It was weird. It was like this weird transition of, oh, this is like a real thing. And my favorite moment was Michelangelo ordering the pizza and turning to my dad and being like, he would have anchovies on his pizza. And I said that to my dad, and my dad was like, you just grow up. And then when the pizza lands on Splinter's head, and then I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. And then, it was just like that was just that experience. So I can only imagine like what the Star Wars experience was, because I had pre-existing material and knowledge about these characters, but Star Wars just must have been something all unworldly for those people that were lucky enough to be alive at that point to go in and see it for the first time.
Well, they had the whole, I guess you could say, fortune of not knowing what the hell they were in for at all. Like all the stories I hear, it's like day one, there's lineups down Hollywood Boulevard, but that was a whole lineup of folks who didn't know what a Wookiee was or who Darth Vader is and why he is, and they're lining up for this already. Like that kind of electricity, you don't really. The only thing I think has come close, and is Avatar, because it's like it was this thing that is nothing. It came from nothing. Mm-hmm. It was just like, I'm gonna make a thing about blue people, put Sigourney Weaver in it, and next thing you know, $2.8 billion.
I would say for me, The Matrix, I guess, was another, but The Matrix was a little more subtle than the experience of Ninja Turtles or Star Wars would be. Brock's here. Brock, what's up?
Brock's me.
Hi. Which Ninja Turtles are you talking about? The original ones?
Yeah, I was just comparing it to what it must have been like to see Star Wars for the first time. Because I obviously couldn't see A New Hope before it was A New Hope. So I was just saying, for me, it was probably Ninja Turtles. And I said, when I went to go see it the first time, we couldn't get in because the line was so long and it was sold out. And just like being in awe for an hour and a half or whatever it was.
What's the history of Ninja Turtles? Comic comes first, but does the cartoon come before the movie, or the movie come before the cartoon?
The movie came after the movie came after the cartoon. And so I was just saying how it was like jarring when the voices were different, but But I don't know, the movie I just always thought that movie was so good that I didn't care. Like, I was able to separate them almost, where it was almost like, this is the real Turtles and these are my goofy Sunday morning Turtles, which I had to tape Ninja Turtles on VHS every Sunday morning because they were on when I went to church. And I had a Ninja Turtle tape, and I just taped every episode. I got back from church and I was like, this is it. I need my half hour to watch my Ninja Turtles. And
that's right. They would do cartoons on Sundays sometimes.
Yeah. It was weird. Saturday was like the day, but for some reason they're like, Ninja Turtles, you get Sundays. And I was like, ugh. There's like Sundays at 9:30, right when you're at church. I was like, son of a gun.
Speaking of important viewings, did you watch the documentary yet?
I'm at the Taika Waititi part. And then we had to go live, so I had to stop it. I was working, I got caught up, and then I was like, gotta watch it. I turned it on, and there is a part at the beginning where it's the Filoni chapter, and he is not even talking yet, and him and Favreau are looking at Stormtrooper helmets, and one of them was Rural Farm Boys, I'm sure, but behind them are the giant LED screens, and it just says Lucasfilm, and I'm like, oh my god, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I can't wait to hear that episode or see that episode where they talk about all that stuff. I'm really excited. There's so much about the documentary I'm really excited about. Like, the puppetry alone, I assume is an episode, right? Like that one clip in the trailer where they see the guy who makes IG-11 move around. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
I'm looking forward to whatever this documentary's equivalent is of that thing and that part of the Phantom Menace documentary where he's got his yellow tablet paper and he's writing down his ideas and like plotting out the prequels kind of thing. Like, I'm looking forward to that equivalent of this. Like, to show us them sitting down in the writer's room and being like, okay, here's how we think season 1 should go, and then talk about the future a little bit. And because I feel like that's where we're going to get our most juicy season 2-y stuff.
That part you talked about, James, isn't that the part where like Favreau and Filoni are talking and Filoni's just like flexing his Star Wars knowledge?
I like even what's her name? Cara Dune is like, I'm like, it's a shoulder pad. He goes, actually, it's not a shoulder pad. It's a lot money. She's like, he gives you a whole backstory of why it's not a shoulder pad. His story, for anyone who hasn't seen it, he gives a great story about how he got hired by Lucasfilm. And you can just see everybody like geeking out around him. And Taika Waititi is like, I've signed on for a movie. That was breaking news a minute before we went live at lunch today. The Taika Waititi stuff came out. But Automated Joy has a question for the chat, and I think it's a great question that I want to ask you guys. And I'll start with Brock and go over to Fantasia. And that was, what was the very first Star Wars movie you saw theatrically?
Oh, like in a theater?
Yeah.
A New Hope, but the re-release.
Yeah, me too.
Andrew? Mine was Menace of the Phantom. And it was also the first movie that I ever had to line up for.
Yeah. I saw Phantom Menace in the same theater that I saw New Hope re-release, which ironically I didn't see the Empire or Return of the Jedi just because I had no friends at the time that were into Star Wars. And I think my dad's always appreciated Star Wars, but it's never been his like. Yeah, half of you watch this. I shouldn't say that. He once made me watch Terminator, like the first one, by myself. He's like, you watch this. This is an important film. I'm like, okay.
Here's a question for both you guys and the chat. Are you guys planning on getting the Lego game?
When you brought it up today, I thought about it. I still haven't looked at it, but I have been kind of jonesing for a Lego game. They're fun.
Yeah, those are fun. I find they wear out their welcome very quickly, but they are like pure joy from start to finish. I'm curious what they're doing because they keep saying how they built the game from the ground up, which I hope means they're not recycling just those first two games that they made and then slapping on some Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker stuff. I'm hoping that means that it's a whole brand new thing, and the first level of Attack of the Clones is not the same as the one if you go back and play the OG Xbox one. That would be really cool, and just like upping the ante and giving us this new sort of way to experience them in Lego form. There's a lot of room to do some cool stuff. Hopefully they don't do what they did in the Clone Wars Lego game, because that was not great. But in the Force Awakens, when they had like the hub world, remember, and you're just driving around on Jakku, and then you can go to the levels, but then you can also find stuff there. I think that they could have a lot of fun with that.
I mean, James always says that like sometimes those games are great because they drop things in there that you're like, wait a second, were they supposed to say that?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, because what was it? Was it something about the new movie, the sequels that
in the Force Awakens, Kylo Ren says, "It is you," and it's in the novel, and you're like, "Well, what?"
Yeah.
Which is why I think her being a Palpatine goes. I hate admitting when Andrew's right, but I think that was Abrams' idea from day one, and whether Rian Johnson knew that or accepted that or changed his mind, I don't know. But he did say that him and J.J. Abrams were on the same page in terms of Rey's lineage. So I just think he wanted to stretch that mystery out more. And to Rian Johnson's credit, I think he didn't want to do the "I am your father" moment in the middle chapter again, because it's already been done. And I think one of the problems with Star Wars now is we're like, what's the twist?
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Star Wars was never about twists until "I am your father," and then "she's your sister." And you're like, Star Wars is only twists. Like a New Hope, there are no twists in New Hope. It is straightforward. Here's what's happening. This is how it's happening. We win. And it's awesome.
Speaking of video games, I splurged this morning and bought Jedi Outcast on my Nintendo Switch and was playing it today. Pretty enjoyable. Did they remaster that? Because it looks really good.
For the price you're paying, I would hope so. It's not on sale, right?
Yeah, there was a sale going on Switch.
But is that up? How much is it?
It was originally $12. So I paid $9 plus tax.
Okay, 12's not too bad. There's one that was $24, and I was like, this is too much for an old game.
Well, that's right.
It
looks. It's got like. It's definitely like that 64-bit look where everything's like blocky, but like it's good. The sound is really good. But I think those games, the sound always kind of sounded good. Like the blaster sound is on point. It's crazy. It's hard though. I'm on the setting, and I'm having a hell of a time. But it's enjoyable. So
Yeah, those games are difficult. I was on the Switch store yesterday and I saw that they had this sale. I found they also have this thing that blew my mind. I did not buy it. It was the Genesis, I think Sega Genesis versions of Aladdin and the Lion King in a bundle. $40.
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, thank you. Yeah,
it's across the board, I think, because there is a difference between the Sega versions of a lot of those games. Like,
yes,
especially Aladdin. That one always sticks out in my mind because I remember playing that at someone's house with Sega, and then like renting the Nintendo version, and it was like, this is not the same game.
Oh yeah, they're two different things. Actually, I had this idea today, not to get too side act party here, but tell me what you guys think of this.
Don't
like it in the chat. But if you do like it, I'll give you free stuff. And by stuff, I mean smiles. I'm not a fighting game fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate them, but I just do not feel like paying full price for them. So I find myself being like, when I talk to other like video game people, I find myself being the only person in a room who does not like Super Smash Brothers. I just don't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this idea today. Super Smash Party. Okay, it's a Mario Party kind of game, but bigger, ginormous, and it's all those characters.
Oh, cool. So is it a fighting game or is it a board game?
It's a board game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, which like a lot of Mario Party stuff did kind of cross those borders and stuff. I kind of agree with you. I love when Smash Brothers came out for Super Nintendo or 64. I was like, yes, I've been dreaming. It's like Mario and Link and Star Fox were all in the same game. It would be fantastic. But yeah, it's one of those competitive games where it's not. I don't play enough with other people for me to want to spend $80 on a game. And the same with like Mario Kart. It's like, oh, I would love Mario Kart, but I know I'm not going to play it enough. And that's why I play Rocket League, because it's exponentially cheaper.
I play Mario Kart. I love. I have Sonic Racing. Smash Bros. I own for the Wii U, and the DS, and I love it alone, and absolutely hate it when I play with anybody that is a human, because everybody knows all these weird tricks, and I'm like, I don't know the tricks. I just know how to play. It's way too convoluted, is what I will say. There's too much going on. I'm like, it's like the new like hockey and soccer games. It's like A to shoot, B to hit, like the end. I don't need to do like throttle, and I'm like, no, just but A, B, Nintendo style.
Remember, it's too much of an institution now. Like it's everybody's. You know, if you were a Smash fan, it's become this thing where it's like they cloistered themselves off and they're like, no, you got to be good like us. I don't know, it doesn't.
Where are they getting Waluigi in this? That makes me think of Jedi Outcast, because it is still the same game in how it works, where like it's expecting you to read the instructions. Like it doesn't do that in-game tutorial that games do now, where like it tells you what buttons do what, and it gives you instructions on new things you encounter. And if I forget what I'm doing, I don't know what to do. Like it's like there's no part in the game where you can go like your objective is to get to here. There's no map. There's nothing. So you spend half the time. I was like, oh, this is what video games used to be like. So it was an interesting go down memory lane. But yeah, I don't know.
You should do a full review when you beat it in 12 years.
Yeah, probably. They are on a planet called Kajim, and I was like, Kajimi?
It's funny though. I was talking to to Austin, a friend Austin, sure, and he was watching the Droids DVD, and I'm like, just wait till you see all the prequel like references before the prequels. And he goes, "This is incredible." There's like the Dexter Jetster type character, and like all these vehicles, and you're like, how long were these in the designers' minds? Because you see a lot of the same names recycled, like Star Wars, like Lucasfilm was Lucasfilm, and it's like, so they had these ideas and they put them in a cartoon, and then when they had a chance to make them, they threw them in the movies. And it's freaking Star Wars is awesome.
They refer to the Imperials you deal with as the remnant troopers. I'm like,
that's awesome. Oh man! So you know what's funny is when I was watching the gallery, Disney gallery, they showed the Bryce Dallas Howard episode. They show Baby Yoda sipping the tea, and I was like, and I've seen that episode like a million times now, 3 times, 4 times, and but the clip came on, and I'm so used to seeing it in GIF format that I was like, the quality is incredible. I'm so used to like pixelated, dark Baby Yoda zoomed in, and I was like, it looks amazing. I forgot how good that looked. That whole show is so beautiful to look at.
I had a very similar reaction when they showed it. I was like, oh, it's not up close like the GIF made me believe.
The thing. It's like, it's so up close. I'm like, you see their back of their heads in front of them. And he's green. He's not like some weird gray brown like on my iPhone. It's like
they should do an episode on whose episode was the most memeable. Because you can say whatever you want about that episode. It has that meme, and you meet Cara Dune for the first time. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening in that episode.
That episode is. I'm not gonna rank episodes, but it is the one that is it's basically the one when they made that style of show, you know that kind of episode's coming. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? But everything they do in that episode is used in future episodes. Like, it serves its purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So I liked it.
I love the color palette of the episode so much. Like the green and the aqua of that planet. Like, I can never get enough of seeing
I can't wait for more of the cinematography and art direction discussions on this show to hear about that stuff. Because the cinematographer does come on. He's like, this one's so green. And then they're just like, but this isn't about you. I'm like, make it about him. It is. It's not. The thing with that episode is it's not a bad episode at all.
No.
It did come after, at the time, the best episode, arguably, right?
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
You had 3 episodes in a row where there's something big happening in each one. You're like, oh.
And this one was like, by the way, this is an actual series. Take a breather for a second. Let's tell you a story about how this guy met this girl. But they're not going to kiss.
Yeah.
They're going to beat the crap out of... Well, we don't know yet, because they haven't beat the crap out of anybody yet. But Baby Yoda, oh my God, the fireball, Baby Yoda fireball. Guys, I'm not going to lie. There are moments in this show that are my favorite in all of Star Wars. Fireball Yoda, Baby Yoda, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And Armorer taking out stormtroopers.
Oh, she's cool, man.
Right?
Those little hammers. They look like they're not going to do much because they're little hammers.
And she destroys them.
Can we talk about, since it's no longer the morning, can we talk about Clone Wars with spoilers?
Well, I'm still debating, but I think we'll give a heads up. We'll Brock, do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So
I liked it.
So we will discuss a couple spoilers for Clone Wars that happened today. Mute us, and I'll go like this with my hand when we're done talking about those spoilers. How about that?
You'll flip the bird to the camera.
I will flip the bird. So anyway, in this episode of the Clone Wars, I thought it was really weird that they killed Ahsoka within the opening crawl. They were just like... Anyway, Brock, start us off this episode.
I love the action in this one. It's stuff that maybe it's more believable in cartoon form, but it's like where they're dropping the platforms so that they can get around the troopers like that, which isn't really the beginning of the episode. It's like near the end. It's awesome. I definitely love this camaraderie they form with the droids. I think it's funny that at the end of the Clone Wars, our characters have to rely on 3 quirky droids to get them away from the clones. But we didn't talk about this. I like that one of the droids sounds like Chopper. I think they call him Jeep or whatever.
Yeah, he does. He's just there. He's just got a couple lines, but he's like he came off the same assembly line as Chopper, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. He looks like an astromech. Well, I guess astromech is a generic term, but he looks like an R2 unit, but he's got the little boop part on top. Little nod to Ralph McQuarrie. What did you like about it, Andrew? Let me guess. The music.
This time, no, the music didn't pop for me this time. For me, it was the silence. And the surprising reaction I had to the death of a character as unimportant in the grand scheme of things as Jesse. Because it's like, I don't remember when he was revealed. He's not Domino Squad, right? No, he wasn't like Fives and those guys.
Season 1.
Yeah, he's early on. Yeah, he's just been a mainstay, right? It's like here's this guy named Jesse, and you don't see him for like 20 episodes, and then oh yeah, there's Jesse. So he's always been there. So he's like the perfect guy to put into this. Yeah, he's been a casual friend you've been seeing all throughout Clone Wars, and he keeps popping up and helping you fight droids, and all of a sudden, whoop, he's not on your side anymore. Yeah. And then to end not just the episode, but the series on what's left of his uniform sticking out of that dirt.
Yeah.
It was powerful to me in a way that I was not expecting. I never in a million years would you have told past Andrew, like, man, when Jesse dies, you're going to feel it. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Weird future person. But yeah, it was as powerful a death as Kanan for me.
Yeah, and it's like putting someone recognizable in there, like Jesse, brings to home that like Rex is now killing his brothers, basically, or like going against his brothers, and it's like, and Rex is that one clone that everyone kind of like gets behind in the show, at least. You know what I mean? Like, I think they really downplayed Cody through the series to an extent, but like Rex is the guy that like he's like the poster boy for clones, and now he has to go against his own family. It's like, wow.
I think Cody they had to downplay because he's of his
in the movie.
Yeah, because of that. Whereas Rex, all bets were off with him. You can do what you want. And then when they brought him in Rebels, you're like, well, he has to get from here to here. How's that story going to work out? But I think, and Jesse, it wasn't just that character; it was everything the character represented.
Yeah,
and that, it was just the ending of the episode. Was I want to say it felt. I was worried, so I woke up. I didn't watch it right away. I worked, and then I read some tweets. So like my thoughts on it were blah 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 blah. And I was like, no one's really... Usually people are like, this was the greatest thing ever. And everyone seemed very subdued. Like, I'm like, oh, is this going to be a deflated? Because we got, the last two were like so great that this one's going to feel a little meh, And I thought the opposite was true. I thought this one ending... I mean, it was a weird episode in that it was part 4 for sure. And it just... And it was just like... Rex and Ahsoka have to survive. How do they survive? Oh yeah, by the way, Maul's going to survive over them. and which was great because we talked about this a little bit earlier. Brock, was that Maul thing was so awesome because people are complaining about how Ahsoka bested him so easily or whatever. Who cares? But people were saying that, and then all of a sudden this happens. You're like, well, guess what? He's actually the one that gets away, and it's because she let her guard down and let him out and tried to use him, and he is Maul, and he kind of outsmarted her at the end anyway, in a way. And I was just so that was great. And then that ending with all the clone trooper helmets up, and then the snow.
I like that gravesite part. It's like, yeah, they are going against them, but they're like, we understand the situation. This is not your fault, and we won't forget you. So I like that part of it. It's like they could have gotten the hell out of there, but they took the time to find their fallen brothers. Like it's beautiful. It's
even though they were the villains of the episode, they didn't forget to show the tragedy of what was happening to all these guys. I feel like this finale and episode 11, the one that just aired on Friday, these two, more than any other Star Wars in recent memory, really hits the nail on the head of the whole idea of, without showing him, telling us that Sidious is a big meanie.
And what's that? How about Rex referring to him as Darth Sidious?
Yeah, I like that too. I was like, oh, like it's even though they know that, well, yeah, it's like it's not Emperor Palpatine. It's like they're like, yeah, well, like their programming is so controlled over them that it's like, it's like, who is Darth Sidious? Why are you following him? It's like, but you said Order 66. Like,
but isn't there like another story to be told now, where Rex knows that he's Darth Sidious, and these clones, by the time A New Hope comes around, they don't exist anymore.
Right.
Stormtroopers are civilians now. So what's that story?
Yeah. It would be nice to know the overlap. I think the Darth Vader comic kind of deals with it a bit. But I think the problem is, like, Vader's there. No clone can stand against Vader, right?
That's the thing. So, but like, well, I'm not saying this could be a one-off, whatever. But think about it. If all the clones know it's Darth Sidious, that information can't get leaked, right?
Right.
So what happens?
Do they know that Sidious and Palpatine are the same person?
But they know there's a Darth Sidious who made that order.
Yeah, but they don't know Palpatine.
No, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that information can't get out, though. Even because that would tell the galaxy that there is a Sith Lord at work who said that all the Jedi were enemies to the Republic, and his name's Darth Sidious. Someone call Filoni. Dave. He's not answering.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing, eh? Like, this show makes you love these clone characters and you want more. But it's like, I feel like we've gotten enough stories on it that it's like, unless you can somehow put Rex or someone in like the sequel era or whatever, which I think is tricky, but I mean, maybe.
I just posted a picture right now. There's a bit of a delay, so it's not up, but well, when I'm talking, it will be. Of Filoni tweeted this out. It says, "Thank you." You don't see the thank you on what I did, but it's Ahsoka walking off with a lightsaber on the ground. It's just a great piece of art that I wanted to put up for everybody on May the 4th. Awesome stuff. I'm glad that they got to finish off their show, the Clone Wars show. I'm glad it got to end. I'm glad Rebels is over. I mean, I'm not, but I am. I'm glad that these are full stories now. But there's a middle chapter now. There is what was Maul. I mean, we know what Maul was up to, I guess, so they can kind of not tell us. But Maul before Kira and Maul after Kira. These are stories that we are now able to get if they want to give it to us, because there's something there. If they want, they can move on. They don't have to. But I think at some point we will get those. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap up this Clone Wars discussion?
I think that those stories would be cool. Yeah, we'll probably see them. But for me personally, I'm so constantly impressed with how much Clone Wars added to the galactic lore and expanding of the universe in the prequel era. I'm so impressed by that every time I watch that show that I really, really want them to do a new animated show along the same lines, but just set it in the sequel era, because that's the one trilogy that really feels closed off in terms of the breadth of the universe, because they were trying to be so damn secretive they wouldn't touch anything. So that's a perfect place for Filoni and his people to just kind of sit down and be like, let's talk about what the Guavian Death Gang is all about. Let's talk about what was going on Hosnian Prime. Let's look at this planet. Let's look at how the galaxy and the New Republic works. That's a beautiful area, and I'd much rather see that than here's what Rex did 5 years before A New Hope.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Though I will say they did that, Andrew. It's called Resistance.
Yeah.
I think there's an episode with the Guavi and Death King, but that I get your point. Resistance is a different sort of project. I definitely think they're raring to do some more Maul stuff. I think it would be better to do Maul after Kira. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really want to fill gaps anymore because it's like the story doesn't pick up till you get Han involved, and we've seen that origin of Han. Now, this is a great way to somehow get Han back into that. It doesn't have to be Han Solo 2, whatever, but they can be included in some way. That they all can exist in that kind of world, be it animation or live action or I don't know. But yeah, like it's nice to fill in those details. I think if anything, stuff of like Maul leaving the end of this last episode of Clone Wars in a comic would be ideal, and then you can throw in your Dryden Voss and all that jazz.
I think there is I'm definitely Kira Maul is something that I think we are being deprived of right now. But I think there is something that could be done in a way where you get a story set in between the Clone Wars and A New Hope, sometime in there, kind of like a Solo era, whatever. I mean, it is Solo basically, but people are working for Maul, and just like in Solo, you never really see Maul, but there's an undercurrent of him, and you get to see the seedy underworld a little bit more that George Lucas really wanted us to see too, right? And then that could even coincide with Solo, and then from Solo you get the Maul Kira, and then you really get to what's going on, because at some point, does that seedy underworld that Maul is in control of, it seems like he's in control of, at least in the Clone Wars, and of course by the time we get to Kira, does that go away by the time Rebels? Like, what happens between Maul, Kira, and Rebels, where he just ceases to do what he's doing and goes on a hunt for Kenobi?
Yeah, like anything Maul, it could just be his obsession with Obi-Wan. Like, I think that right there just sells whatever. It doesn't even matter what you're talking about, right?
But
that's a clone I would wear. Calvin Klein's obsession for Obi-Wan.
But does something rekindle that? Hold on, I'm going to tell the people they can come back after Clone Wars. No more Clone Wars spoilers. Yeah. But anyway, could they rekindle? Like, could something come in to spark his hatred for Kenobi years down the road?
I don't know if it even really sparks anything. I think he's always looking for Kenobi. Perhaps like now that like the Republic has fallen apart, he just can't find him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Like, it would be so smart, even though we know Maul and Kenobi kind of don't see each other till that episode in Rebels, that if they put out an Obi-Wan show, somehow we see Maul in it. I know that's live action, but like it would be so smart. We're doing all these one-off little things. Why can't they all connect? I mean, we've also spent how many episodes talking about like they need to not connect anymore. They need to not be about saga. You know what I mean? Like, if you turn it in a certain way, you can do all these projects and confuse everyone into loving it. Like, even like Cassian Andor can have Maul in some form. You know what I mean?
They could. They could
do
a
lot of
whatever they
times
want.
I saw Rebels, so I don't know if I'm remembering it right, but I remember him being stuck on Malachor. Like he was marooned there in that sunken city under the ground, and it's Ezra coming there and bringing a ship with him that gets Maul the ability to escape. So I always thought that was something that we would build towards with him, is like
it's definitely the facade he's put on for Ezra when they first meet in that episode, but I would argue that this is all like he probably could have got it off there no problem.
He's just a big fibber.
I will agree that the Maul in Rebels is a very like almost end of its rope kind of Maul. So like I don't know.
So does he lose Crimson Dawn to Kira or to the Hutts or to what? Oh,
Kira's totally a crime lord now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but Who know? Well, is she though, Andrew? Because we haven't got that story because nobody went to go see the movie.
Well, in Game of Thrones season 8, there's an Easter egg.
Yeah, she's a dragon. No, yeah, I'm all on board for anything. Like, it's like a no-brainer, and I think we need to be more Mandalorian projects like that, but we've said it before. They have this platform, Disney Plus, and they're not putting a ton of new like across the board. In my opinion, I disagree with me if you want, but like their main today with all that Star Wars stuff felt like the first time since it's come out that there's been like a theme,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm surprised they didn't have a Marvel show ready for, if not launch, then near launch.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was just. I think it was Endgame. I think they're just working on it so much,
Yeah.
I'd rather them take time. They're coming. Let them do it right. Take your time.
Sure.
Don't worry about it. It is surprising it wasn't one at launch, but Mandalorian was a big launch show. I don't think they wanted to launch too many big shows all at once. I think they wanted to space them out.
No, don't launch it with Mando, but even like something to come out like now, like April-ish. I'm surprised they didn't have something in the pipeline like that.
That's why I'm just confused. I don't know. The Disney Plus era, it's been weird how they're like everything has to be G except for Mandalorian. That gotta be PG. And like the Lizzie McGuire show was too adult for Disney Plus. Like, what kind of jokes was saying in a Lizzie McGuire show? You know what I mean? Like, something
but
weird.
If you got your Disney Plus subscription so that you can watch Diary of the Future President, you are in luck.
Is Boy Meets World on Disney Plus?
I
think so. Yeah.
Some of their episodes are really for the 90s. Even now, it's like when you rewatch it, you're like, how was that?
Well, the world has changed so much.
Yeah, and because it was always a Disney thing, I think, right?
Yeah, but I think they're trying too hard to be like family, and I get it. And you don't want kids to stumble across X-rated nonsense, yeah. But there's a line, and I think they're trying too hard to straddle on one side of that line.
I don't have a family Disney.
I don't think they're thinking about you too much, Andrew. All right, let's wrap this.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say let's wrap it up with trivia, but give your thought first.
I might have to rewatch some of the older movies as well on there. Like I'm sure if I rewatch Apple Dumpling Gang, I'll be like, "Ooh, that's problematic."
But they do have the warnings, right? Like I think if you watch Davy Crockett, it goes depicts tobacco use. I'm like, I don't care. Like I watched this when I was a kid, and I haven't smoked.
Yeah.
I only smoke cigars with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here we go. May the 4th trivia. Are we back tomorrow for Revenge of the 5th? And lunch?
I don't know.
Tell me.
What?
You tell me.
Yes. Revenge of the 5th will be back.
Okay, great.
And then we'll be off for the rest of the week.
Thank gosh.
Well, we'll do episode 168.
Yeah, of course.
Which will be all about our hatred for Andrew.
Finally.
And episode 169 will all be Andrew's hatred for us. It's a great... Stay positive, Star Wars fans. Ooh. First question. How much does Sam Witwer hate The Last Jedi? Just joking. Who shared a cell with Han Solo in Jabba's palace? Rachel, by the way, is very excited about the mentioning of the Apple Dumpling Gang.
She should be.
She's like, finally, someone on this show has mentioned it. Who shared a cell with Han Solo in Jabba's palace? Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Hermie Odell. Hermie Odell?
Why couldn't it have been him?
Hermie Odell? Who is that, Andrew?
I don't know, but it's not them, so I'm really upset now.
How do you know it's not Hermie Odell?
because Hermie Yodel was on the Klaatuine
what the
dumpling
heck?
gang at the time.
Well, he is a character. What? I got somebody show me. Rural obviously know who this character is. What?
Yeah, I've heard. Can't think of
what is this? No. I have lived and breathed this movie. No. I want to Lucas make another special edition and just have this guy to make it. What is this thing? He looks. First of all, he looks like he's from Fraggle Rock. You know the one with the hat that covers his eyes? He looks like that guy from Fraggle with freaky like labyrinth hands.
Hey, I go another few weeks without a haircut, I'll be right there with him.
Who shared a cell with Han Solo in Jabba's palace? Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Hermie Yodel. My new favorite Star Wars character. I want this action figure.
Yeah, the action figure looks sweet.
You know that card was written by like the one person in the world who loves Hermie Yodel.
Yeah, he's like,
how do you spell it? I'm gonna look him up.
Hermi, Hermie, like from Rudolph.
Uh-huh.
And Odle, Odle.
It doesn't matter.
Oh my god, yeah.
Hermie who?
He's a straight up Dark Crystal character. Look at him.
Yeah. So Rachel says Chewy. Real Farm Boy says apple dumpling. Yeah, Chewy. Oodle. It's Oodle. Hermie Oodle. But what? Okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue. Rural knows everything. Bernie Oodles. I don't know what that is. I'm in the future, says Rez. Congratulations. What's the weather tomorrow? What do you guys think? Who is the answer? Is it Chewy, Luke, Leia, Hermie?
Baka.
Jedi Knight. Oh wait, everyone gets delusions of grandeur.
A reused line from C-3PO in the excellent movie Empire Strikes Back. Who referred to it's Chewbacca, yes. Who referred to Leia is kind of that's like the curveball in that one, right? Because somebody might be like, well, Leia's in there, but no, she was not a prisoner. Who referred to Darth Vader as twisted and evil? Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, Yodel, Mon Mothma, and I'm going to add a Yaddle to the list.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Mon Mothma on the Cassian Andor show. That's been confirmed, by the way.
Yeah.
Who referred to Darth Vader as twisted and evil? Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, Yoda, Mon Mothma, or Yaddle. The fact that Yaddle's not on the card should have let everybody know that it's not Yaddle. We have Leia.
Who is on the card?
Huh?
Who is on the card?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, Yoda, Mon Mothma.
Oh.
Ted says Obi, kicking air says Leia. Great Council says Baka Boy, which I think is answering the other card. I'm lagging is not even an option. Restart Obi-Wan. A lot of Obi-Wan coming in. Andrew, who do you think it is?
Yeah, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Brock?
Says it.
Yeah, like I don't feel like Leia ever really describes Darth Vader. She just talks to him. So that's why I'm like, it's either one of those two, but I'm going to go Obi-Wan because it's, yeah. He seems to be the expository monster in that movie.
Obi-Wan, Mr. Kenobi, smooth running stream, says Rez. Thank you. R5D4 says Rural Farm Boy. An odd wrong answer. No, he said Obi-Wan earlier. The answer is Obi-Wan Kenobi, a.k.a. Old Ben Kenobi, a.k.a. Hello There.
Goodbye, there.
Somebody has
that should be the name of the last episode of the series.
What if like every episode is Hello There, second episode is General Kenobi, third episode Goodbye There, and that's it. 3-episode arc. The answer, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who said concentrate all fire on that Super Star Destroyer? Mon Mothma, General Madine, Admiral Akbar, Lando Calrissian, not Leto, Lando. Who said, concentrate all fire on Super Star Destroyer? Mon Mothma, General Madine, Admiral Akbar, Lando Calrissian. Do you guys remember when we shot in Brock, your old comic book shop?
Yeah.
I watched that last night. It was on Facebook. It's private. Andrew, you're pretty good in it, but your opinion on Sonic the Hedgehog is wrong.
Well, so is everybody's, including the people who make Sonic the Hedgehog. So really, we're just living in the real world, baby. I think it's Akbar.
Brock, who said, concentrate all fire on the Super Star Destroyer, Mon Mothma, General Madine, Admiral Akbar, Lando Calrissian.
Akbar.
R5 won't get out of bed because he has a bad motivator. Akbar says Ted. Admiral Akbar says Rural. Great Council Akbar. Rachel Akbar. Brian Hill, Master of None. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, or it's fortunate. It depends on what kind of master you are. Akbar. Rez says Akbar. Heidi says Akbar. Rachel says Alternative. Andrew Akbar. Rural says, haha, there it is. Pauline Akbar, okay, got my pudding mix. That was one of the fastest grocery trips I've ever done. Oh, wait, while we were doing this, you went to the grocery store?
Wow. Joy, you on fire.
That clip that's going around, have you guys seen it of like grocery shopping in 2020? And it's from Endgame when Captain America gives a speech like, you're going somewhere you know, but it's going to be different. You're in, you're out. I'm like, that is every time I have to leave. If I go to the pharmacy, I give myself a pep talk. I'm like, okay. And I bring like a jug of Purell and I soak myself in it when I get out. And I puke in the sewers.
What are you rambling about?
I gargle salt water every time I leave my house. 0 cases in the town that I live in. 0. But there are only 11 people here, so... That's not saying much.
Yeah, you guys got wasps in April, so
we all. I was in the hot tub last night and a cow went moo, and I was like, "Where the hell am I?" I was like, "There was a cow." Automated Joy, forced grocery run. What was the answer on that? The answer on that one was Admiral Akbar. Last card. Here we go. Oh, I read that card already. That's interesting, because that deck that I read that card from is downstairs.
Oh.
Right?
Well, it is 8 p.m. You want to wrap it up anyway?
Okay, let's do one more question. Last question.
All right.
Oh, no.
This is a good one to end it on. This is a good one to end it on. May the 4th. Thank you all for... Disney Desi just shut up. You know it's time to quit when she shut up. Here we go. Who said, may the 4th be with you? Here we go. Last question. Who said, there will be no escape for the princess this time? C-3PO, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. May the 4th be with you, starting it all off with
that is a great question.
It's a great question to end it with. What?
Yeah.
Who said there will be no escape for the princess this time? C-3PO, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. Or was it Hermie Udall?
It was Hermie Udall.
Probably.
Really, Hermie Udall is the Wills, so he's telling the story. So technically, the answer to every who said it question could also apply to him. But in a much more correct way, it's C-3PO.
Is it 3PO?
Mm-hmm.
What is the line again?
Who said there will be
I'm
no
pretty sure
escape
it's like right at the top
for the princess this time? There'll be no escape for the princess this time.
Yeah. Remember all the time we spent talking about the Wills and nothing came of them in any of the movies?
They like Rogue One. They're like, guess what? They're coming, and then they never did. I told our friend Brett, he's like, why did they show a Kyber crystal? I'm like, because we're going to get that in The Last Jedi. No, we never got it.
I like to believe in my heart of hearts that whatever it is you wanted that the movies have not given you, it's in the 3.5-hour cut of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, there'll be no escape for the princess this time.
Oh, it's C-3PO!
Chugging now, you can see it.
There'll be no escape for the princess this time.
And that is the answer. It's C-3PO. It's Ben Quadinaros, says Rachel. I will accept that this time. But Darth Vader says Pauline, may the fourth be with you, says 3PO says that. Darth Vader says rural. Vader says res, but it is C-3PO in the opening line from the opening movie of this saga. The one that started it all. One of the greatest scenes in Star Wars. I will fight anybody that disagrees. That opening scene of A New Hope is tremendous in every way whatsoever. Probably the best opening scene in Star Wars.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
I'm reading the chat. All right, everyone, that'll wrap up our May the 4th show. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a absolute blast. We got to spend May the 4th with our good Star Wars friends and pals. No better way to do it. We hope everybody spends the night watching some Star Wars. You guys plan on watching any more Star Wars today?
No, I'm good.
I might watch Return of the Jedi tonight.
Ooh, that is arguably the only good one. That's what they say. It's the only good Star Wars movie.
Who is they? Twitter? I don't think
it's Twitter. Also, gotta tell you guys, watch the Mad Max live stream at 8:00. And Michael 2Med2 at 9:30 p.m. on Twitch. I think he's having some YouTube issues because YouTube is god awful lately. So there's the link for his Twitch. But go over to Mad Max channel right now. All right, I'm James. That's Brock and Andrew. We hope you all have a great May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, everyone. And until next time, may the 4th be tomorrow's Revenge of the 5th. Brock, you were always scum.
She's waiting for someone to stand by her side.